going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You know who it is by now, Jimothy. Now, with this being the hottest deck on the block, ladies and gents, I thought I'd go through the list that actually got me a top 6 in a box tournament. Now, I did profile this deck on the channel recently, so I'm not going to go over every card. Rather than that, I'm going to go through it a little bit differently and just talk about some of the interactions and some of the engines that I play in this card, in this deck. So the deck in question is obviously Branded Despia. So we're starting us off with 2 Fallen of Albaz, which is probably what you'd expect to see in any kind of Despia list at the moment. Pretty standard, pretty straightforward. Oops, switch me that way. Next up, I'm still playing the 1 Springen's Kit and the double Aluba Gesture of Despia. Now, obviously, if you have the third Aluba, you just play the third Aluba. The kit's literally a placeholder. It still can search your Branded Fusion, which is good, but it's not an inherent +1. And it did come up a couple of times, to be honest, in order for me to be able to use it to search, which is quite interesting. So yeah, nice budget option for you players out there. And then I'm still maxing out on the triple Despian Despian Tragedy. Again, I just want maximum consistency. Because I'm only playing 2 Albaz, I thought to myself, you know what, the 3 Tragedy will serve me well. Just being able to search either into Albaz or obviously into my ad libitum. So 3 Tragedy. Also, I am playing the 1 ad libitum, the 1 Dramaturge, as well as the 1 Albion the Shrouded Dragon. I love this card. You can actually search this card off Branded Lost, which is something that I find myself doing a lot more now. Obviously, since I've learnt the deck a little bit better, as well as it just being basically an upstart goblin. I was playing a trap in the deck to be able to send off, but I've realised that I don't necessarily need the trap to send off his effect. I could just literally send a branded opening, because once you've got your plays established, ladies and gents, you don't necessarily need to use this effect, but it's nice just because it gets you a nice little draw. So definitely something to bear in mind. Next, for the branded fusion spells, obviously we're playing the power card of the moment, which is triple Branded Fusion. I'm actually messing about with shadows. I've even got another play set of this, and I might potentially put this into shadows. But power card, ladies and gents, nothing more needs to be said. Also, for consistency, triple branded opening. Again, just to get these plays going. You want to see Aluba as much as possible. This gets you into your Aluba. It's a nice little graveyard tech as well, because often people don't read it, and it actually can protect your fusion monsters from destruction. 2 branded in red. I was playing 3 initially in my previous profile, but I realized that you don't necessarily want to see this in your opening hand, because it does nothing to start your plays off. It's more of a combo piece that you end your plays with once you've got a graveyard set up. So I found that 2 was a little bit of the sweet spot. You want to resolve it once, and then potentially a second time depending on the game state, how it progresses, but I found that 2 was fine. Next, we played the 1 Despia Branded Theatre, the 1 Branded Lost, as well as the 1 Branded Retribution. This was a target I was using for Albion, but I didn't actually resolve it much. Obviously, it's got a graveyard effect, but I didn't see myself using it. Normally, what would happen is I'd either have won the game by then, or I needed to search or dump something else off its effect, or just use something else, basically, which meant that it wasn't always live. I didn't actually see it, thankfully, which is why I played it at 1, because potentially you've either got a setup or you haven't, and this is kind of like you gambling on having a setup and being able to set this card. Branded Lost, I'm actually considering bumping this up to 2, mainly because it's just that powerful of a card. It just protects a load of your plays, as well as being able to search off your fusion summoning. Again, Despia Theatre with the branded. This was just something I was testing. Obviously, this is the pure build, so I thought to myself I'd try this card, and it actually did come up. Again, people don't tend to read cards, ladies and gents, and this actually fared quite well in the box tournament. Next, for the hand traps, which is something that I was not very happy with, ladies and gents. As you can see, I was playing double Effect Veiler. I wanted another light target other than Ghost Ogre. I was considering putting Nibiru in, which is probably something I might still consider, or at least side in it so I can side in Nibiru. But Effect Veiler is just not impactful enough. it just doesn't do enough basically. Like decks nowadays can easily play through one effect failure. I was also running the double Ghost Balance Haunted Mansion. Now on reflection, I probably just would go with the 3 effect failure and probably another light target hand trap basically. I did put the 2 ball in because I was considering playing Crossout Designator, but that was something that I didn't actually do, and it didn't harm me in any way, to be honest. I do think Crossout Designator is a good shout because you will be running into a lot of mirror matches, mainly because Despia is the hottest thing right now, until we get some more updated decks from like coming sets. Like Splites is looking to be like a crazy deck coming forward, so Crossout Designator definitely an interesting tech, which is something I might potentially put in, which means the hand trap ratios might change, but for the most part they were okay. I didn't see them enough, to be honest, and when I did, it wasn't bad, but they just weren't consistent enough basically. 4 hand traps is not enough. Obviously I've got the Frightful Patchwork stuff, as well as the one goddess with the 3rd eye. Now somebody previously commented on a video that I posted regarding this deck, saying that Hexlight Sealed Fusion is a lot better. I do agree. I just haven't had a chance to get a hold of one, so this has to suffice for the moment, but I will get my hands on a Hexlight Sealed Fusion, and that would definitely swap out for Goddess to the 3rd eye. But this is a nice little budget option, to be honest, ladies and gents. Next, onto the spells, we have the triple Frightful Patchwork, Inherent +1, fantastic card, forces interaction. It also searches polymerization. Now if you've got the right combination of cards in your hand, you can actually afford to get your Branded Fusion negated, and you can just play with polymerization, which is a nice feeling. So definitely a package that I value a lot in this deck. Was also running the double Super Poly, have the 3rd one in the side. Ladies and gents, this Super Poly is live, this format. Expect a lot of mirror matches as well, so just having Super Poly to just Super Poly away your opponent's board and then just build your own is just fantastic. So hence why I left it at 2. Do run a couple of Super Poly targets. One double normal polymerization. Again in this deck, this is nice, mainly because of Guardian Chimera. This card is polymerization is what it is. Triple Tactics Talents. Would I play the 3rd? Potentially. But it fared well at 2. I just don't like bricking on this card, and I have bricked on it when I've played it at 3. So 2 seems to be the sweet spot for myself. I see it when I need to, and then when I don't see it, it's not a problem. So 2 seems to be fine for me. Again, I've seen some people play 3, that's entirely up to you, ladies and gents. Double Forbidden Droplet. This would be 3 Forbidden Droplet, but like I said, I don't own 3, so double Forbidden Droplet it has to be, ladies and gents. Power card in of itself is what it is. And then for some one-offs, I actually played Gold Sarg. I got this Foolish Burial at the end of the tournament, so I'll just put it in my list, but I was actually running Gold Sarg. But Foolish Burial is a lot better with Tragedy, mainly because it makes sure branded in red live. Obviously with Gold Sarg it doesn't, so it's probably better to play the Foolish Burial. However, this can get ashed, so yeah, interesting. Next, onto the extra deck, ladies and gents. Now, somewhat of a change. I'm playing 1 Mirror Jade and 2 Lubellion. I actually changed or took out the Dark Charmer and put in the 2nd Lubellion, mainly because when I was testing, I thought, you know what, in a grind game, this card is very, very useful, especially if my Mirror Jade is banished or anything like that. I can actually put it back into the extra deck with Lubellion's effect. So I decided to run the 2 Lubellion, and it actually came up, to be honest. So interesting, yeah. Also run the double Albion. Again, you need 2, 1 to actually make, because I used 1 to make Dragoon once, and you need one of them just to basically dump off your Mirror Jade. Double Masquerade. This is the MVP, ladies and gents. This card forces so much interaction, it's unreal. If you manage to get 2 on board against certain decks as an FTK, they literally just can't play. They can't get through your board, or they can't activate enough effects to be able to build a significant board to overcome this guy and then set up a board that will stop them from dying, basically. So definitely a 2 of, ladies and gents. I did have it at 1, and shout out to Son of a Lag, who said to me, you know what, put the 2nd one in, and I'm glad that he did, because I do not regret that decision. So 2 Masquerade the Blazing Dragon. One Despian Quiritus, one Prosaskinion. I made Quiritus once, I believe, throughout the whole tournament. Again, your main play is your Mirajade, but it's there nonetheless, and especially with the number of Alubas that I'm running, it's nice to have one Quiritus to just go into, basically. I will not take out Prosaskinion because the mirror matches are going to be a thing, ladies and gents, and having Super Poly to fuse away their board and go into this guy is just invaluable. And then we ran the Guardian Chimera power play, obviously the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, as well as the Predaplant Dragos Stapelia. Yeah, nothing more needs to be said about those. Chimera, we all know, is a power card. It's crazy. And then finally, for some spice, we did play the Titanic Lad, which is fine. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, which was in my previous profile, and we actually played the Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon just for the trap matchups. I did play against Owdlich, however, obviously I won the die roll and went first, and I managed to sit on my board and just basically just out-resource him. But if I didn't know what I was going against, or if I lost the die roll, this would be my second port of call. Getting him unfilled before somebody flips like a skill drain or something like that, it just means a lot, ladies and gents. And being able to tack over all your opponent's monsters is just crucial. So definitely a nice little tech, something that I'm probably going to leave in because it can attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls, which means it does a lot of damage at 3400 as well. It's nothing to be laughed at. And finally, ladies and gents, I will show you the side deck. My side deck is just absolute jank. When I look at it, I'm just like, wow. So, one Outreach the Golden Lord. I had a bit of a brainwave thinking that D-Barrier was going to be a thing, and somehow I thought I could be able to get Outreach into the graveyard and set one of my spells like a polymerization or anything like that and just have a beater on field until I'm able to go into a few fusion plays, as well as its protection, being able to dodge destruction. But it never came up, never sided me in, so that was a wasted slot. One red reboot for the trap matchup, obviously. You can pretty much OTK very easily in this deck, so red reboot is nice. We played the double token collector. I don't think I sided this in. I would include this and bump this up to 3 and take out the Owdlich the Golden Lord, to be honest. Maybe because Sword Soul's still a thing, as well as like Based and all that kind of stuff. Double Twin Twister. Again, I wanted something that was a little bit more reactive, just in case Anti-Spell Fragrance got flipped on me. So Double Twin Twister would have been nice. However, I didn't really play that many back row matchups, so I didn't actually side this in, but I wouldn't take this out, to be honest. Triple Dark Ruler no more. Again, this was for like if I ran into like PK Brave or anything like that. Just being able to play, basically, and not be locked out. So Triple Dark Ruler no more. Double Lightning Storm, just for some versatility. Again, I could side this in with the Twin Twisters, or I could side it in with a combination of a couple of other cards. It just gives a lot of flexibility. If I had the third one would be definitely in the side, but Double Lightning Storm nonetheless, as well as the MVP. Evenly matched. Yes, I resolved this a couple of times. Power card is what it is. Board clearance, back row matchups, front row matchups, anything, just get rid of the board. Start with one card and we play from there. So fantastic card. And then obviously the other super polymerization. And that is it, ladies and gents. That's the deck profile. Now obviously this deck is looking to be tier 0, so I might cool off on it a little bit, mainly because I like to play rogue decks, and this was rogue for some time, but now that Branded Fusion is out, literally it is everywhere. There was like 4 or 5 people playing Despia at the box tournament, so we all know it's a popular deck. It's topped YCS's like left, right and center, whether it be pure, whether it be the brave stuff. So its credentials for a tier 1 deck is definitely out there, ladies and gents. So we'll see. I've got a regional coming up, and this potentially could be a deck that I take, but again, I'm obviously always going to be in the lab deciding on what I want to do next. So yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, we find ourselves at the end of another video. If you did enjoy this content, you know what to do by now. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, all of that beautiful good stuff, and I will definitely see you guys in the next video. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.